7:13. Good morning. We're talking back to school. Nobody likes to say this in August, but you do have to get prepared, and it's not just a preparation for kids. Parents, you need to get prepared too. Andrea Gaatch is here from the Nepean Oxford Learning Center, the education director.
Yes.
Parents do need to make that transition because if you're doing your job, I think you're probably involved.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy to believe school's already starting, either next week or the week after for a lot of kids in Ottawa. And so both parents and students really need to take some steps to make sure they're prepared and that they're going to have a successful school year.
I was reading, there's a couple of stats in here that were a little bit scary to me. Nearly 50% of students experience what's called homework anxiety. What is that?
Yeah. Well, homework anxiety can be a few different things. It can be, you're rushing at the last minute and you have something due tomorrow, but you don't have enough time to finish it. It cannot be understanding your homework and thinking that you're going to get into trouble if you
or feeling stupid, right?
Exactly, yeah. And, it's students who are 6 years old right up to students who are 18.
Wow.
Yeah, 19 years old.
Yeah,
so.
that can weigh heavy on their minds. They don't have the kind of complexity of lives that we do, so it's an even bigger deal, kind of blown out of proportion, I imagine.
Yeah.
Also, parents helping with homework is one thing, but some take it a step further.
Yeah, some parents actually do their children's homework for them, and really that's not helping their kids at all. And so it's important to really guide them and answer any questions that they have, but actually, writing things down for them or actually just doing it for them is not okay.
Right, and even if you're trying to explain how you got there afterwards, doing it probably goes a lot further, right?
Yeah.
You have a great top 10 tips here on what to do getting ready.
Yep.
All right, so let's move through number one.
Okay.
Take strong class notes.
Yep, so if you take strong class notes and you have all of the information to begin with, you can really use it to make sure that you're understanding the material. If you have incomplete notes, it's really hard to study for tests. It's really hard to stay prepared.
I think the hard part in learning how to take notes, and I always struggled with this, was knowing what to write down. What are the key points? And I guess a good teacher could really help you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
And we can also teach you that at Oxford. Yeah.
Organization seems to be key in the first couple here. Use an agenda.
Yeah, so that doesn't have to be the traditional agenda that you get from school. You can use a smartphone, you can use your iPad. There's so many different free apps too that you can use to keep track of homework now that are fantastic. So, figure out what works best for you.
I guess the next couple would help in alleviating homework anxiety. They both have to do with homework.
Yeah, so you can really make sure that you establish a homework habit so that you're taking your books out of your bag as soon as you get home.
Okay.
You have, a homework space and you have a specific homework time. If you have a really good routine from day one, it's going to make things easier throughout the whole year.
If your homework is 5 to 6 or 5 to 7 every day, and you never change that, then you're never missing out on something, right?
Exactly.
You don't have that feeling?
Yeah, you sort of schedule it like you would any other activity.
What about supporting your kids as parents?
Yeah, so it's important to really encourage them and give them a lot of praise.
Okay.
But again, you don't want to do their homework for them. You want to answer any questions, but always make sure you're guiding them.
And make them work for the praise?
Yeah,
Would that be fair?
Yeah, absolutely. Tell them you're doing a great job and maybe, give them a little, okay, after this we can watch TV or we can go do something as a family if we finish our homework.
I always like it in top 10 lists because it seems that people think to themselves, well, that works if you're in a certain situation. But number 7, I really like, do what works for you.
Yeah, so if you realize that, okay, if I finish my easiest homework first and I get that out of the way, that works for me. And that sort of gets me into the groove and then I can take on something that's more challenging. So you sort of try different things and figure out what works best for you.
And making sure you're in touch with your kid.
Yeah. So make sure that you're staying informed about what's going on at school.
Okay.
Talk to them about tests that are coming up, assignments that are coming up. Even try and keep in contact with the teacher to see sort of what's to come in the next couple of months.
And as you're doing that, that leads into number 9, which you're watching your child's reaction to school?
Yeah, so make sure that your children aren't getting too frustrated with different things, and really watch that because that could be an indication that they're really struggling with a certain subject and that you might want to take it a step further and get some extra help.
Does that work in terms of like when you know your kid best, obviously, and if their answer used to be something that they would extrapolate on, how was school? Oh, we did this, this, and this, and then something was fine, whatever, facing food. You got to be watching for that.
Yeah, if you notice different signs like that, you really need to sort of dig further and figure out what's going on.
Okay, and the final one, what do you mean by set a time frame at number 10?
So generally you want to give your children should be doing about 10 minutes of homework per grade. So say for a grade 1 student, they should have about 10 minutes of homework a night, grade 3 student 30 minutes. If you find that it's taking a significant amount longer than that, you might want to talk to your child's teacher and figure out why is this taking my child longer than some of the other students. You know, because they really shouldn't be doing 3 hours of homework a night when they're in grade 3. It shouldn't take them that long.
No, I would be a little bit worried there. I think that you know, this list is a very good list, obviously well put together. My question is, when you're time strapped, and this is what everybody's talking about, how much time, you know, parents sometimes are at work 12-hour days, you come home, and if you're someone who puts priority on making a good dinner, now it's a 14-hour day, you know, so do you have to be perfect?
I mean, you don't have to be, because they're not going to have homework every single night. You know, there are going to be times where we're not going to have homework this week. You know, they get lots of breaks during the school year. So to do it as much as possible, but, you know, don't, you know, beat yourself up about it if you don't do it every single night.
Can I add number 11?
Yeah.
Don't think your kid won't lie to you. Because just for personal experience, totally lied all the time. Yeah, I did my homework already.
So that's why you want to stay informed and make sure, you know, show me your homework.
And it should all be kind of fun, I think. You should make sure that it stays light and that the pressure, because they do have pressure from grade 3 on or whatever.
And so you want to make sure that you're keeping the line of communication open and that you're making it an enjoyable experience.
Andrea Gaatch from the Oxford Learning Center, thanks so much for those fantastic handy tips. And if you just caught into the end of this, you can always catch these segments on our YouTube channel.